Tay and Todd, Washington Football Team podcast brought to you by Fansided. This is your boy Tay, co-host Todd. This is Monday night, and we are playing some football.
Yeah.
The Washington Football Team is playing football on Monday night, but not only that, it's meaningful football. Todd, how are you feeling?
I'm excited, dude. First of all, they haven't played on Monday night in 2 years, and then I'm curious to see Ron Rivera's team in primetime again, because they've done well in primetime, right? The Bucs game, the Giants game, the Steelers game, but they haven't played on Monday night. And I'll give you some numbers, but Washington is like historically bad on Monday night, going back 20 years. And I know it's a different team and different players and different coaches and a different name, but one thing has been consistent: they have been terrible on Monday night. So I'm really curious to see how they come out. I'm excited though, Take it. Like you said, it's meaningful football. Cowboys lost on Thursday. Eagles lost yesterday. So, things are definitely interesting. So I'm excited. How about you?
Todd, I'm feeling good, man. This is a huge game. Huge. Ron Rivera, he plays his best he coaches his best football in the end of November heading into January.
Yeah.
And it's like the same scenario all over again.
Yeah.
But I think what's happening is you get a Ron Rivera-led team, which is the best coach in the NFC East, and anything is possible. It's all about getting hot at the right time.
Right.
And I'm excited for tonight. It's a cold day, chilly day. I'm gonna sit at the house in a blanket next to the fireplace by the Christmas tree
with some hot chocolate.
With some hot chocolate, and I'm just gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna enjoy some football, man. I'm excited. I'm excited.
Man, it's definitely the type of game to pull out a Redskins snuggie, for sure. It is December. It's not December. It's basically December, but it is like December winter football, because it's going to be freezing or below freezing out there tonight. So, and like you said, it's when they seem to play their best ball. Last year, it's when Ron Rivera seems to coach his best football, and it feels like it's when teams level out more so than in the summer, late summer, fall, where there is no weather factor. The Seahawks, they're not unfamiliar with playing this type of weather, because I've never been to Seattle. You've been to Seattle, right?
Yep.
Wife lived in Seattle?
Yep, she lived there. Yep.
You've been there. I mean, from what I understand, it's not great weather on average.
No, it's not good weather at all down there in
Seattle.
And,
right.
Yeah.
So the Seahawks have some, I guess, familiarity, but the Seahawks are not the same playing in Seattle, where, they've got their serious home field advantage and their fans just take over the stadium, and then coming across the country and playing in the East Coast cold in a different stadium where, look, the Seahawks fans still may take over the stadium, but it won't be the same as their own stadium. So yeah, man, and then the fact that the Seahawks are so bad, and again, I'll give you some numbers on that too, but they are terrible. So man, I'm excited. I wish for once that it wouldn't become a season where every game is your most important game, but I guess this is just where we are right now. It is what it is.
Right.
You think we'll see all whites or all burgundies tonight?
I think they'll go all whites.
Okay.
I think they'll go all whites. And this is just big. I guess we could touch on a little bit later, but I have some predictions that some guys are going to show up tonight on the national stage, and it's going to carry over for the rest of the season. And
I'd love to.
I have three guys that we'll talk about later on that are going to be huge tonight, and if they get that right momentum on the national stage, I think they'll carry over for the rest of the season.
Okay. All right. So you want to do that like last thing towards the end?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll give you some numbers. Should I do the Seahawks or the Washington Football Team on Monday night? Which number should I do first? One's positive, but basically Seahawks. Okay.
Yeah.
The good news or the bad news, I guess. All right, let's do the good news first.
Yeah.
So the Seahawks, obviously, they lost Russell Wilson for what I think was 4 or 5 games. But that's still not really reflective in these numbers. They've not been very good with Russell Wilson lately, especially. So offense is ranked 30th overall in total offense, the Seahawks. Passing offense is 26th. Rushing offense is 23rd. Defensively, their total defense, they're ranked 32nd in the league right now. Their passing defense is ranked 32nd. Their rushing defense is ranked 23rd. Now, the last time Washington played the 32nd ranked pass defense was a few weeks ago against the Kansas City Chiefs when they only managed to score, what was it, 10 points?
Right.
So, but again, in both situations, the passing defenses are very bad. Now, against the Chiefs, they were able to move the ball some and not finish drives, but lately they've been able to do that. So maybe this time when they play the worst passing defense in the NFL, it'll actually look like the worst passing defense in the NFL. And then in terms of turnover differential, the Seahawks are +3. They're not terrible. They're not getting a lot of takeaways necessarily. They've only gotten 9, so they're 31st in terms of takeaways, but they're not turning the ball over a whole lot either. And it's interesting because there was one other thing, and I can't. They were having success in some areas. Like it didn't seem like they were making a ton of mistakes. Like I said, they don't have a lot of turnovers, but they're still not a good team, right? And then in terms of, overall the Seahawks they're not the Seahawks that we're used to, who have won 9 games plus consecutively for 9 years. They are not that anymore. So, and then you look back at last year, Washington played Seattle in week 15. Yeah, week 15, Russell Wilson threw for 121 yards. And they won that game because of their rushing offense, and Washington's rushing defense is a lot better now than it was last year, really because of a Carlos Hyde run. The Seahawks, I look back at the way Washington played them last year, and it kind of makes me think, I don't know, but it's interesting. I don't know.
It's very similar. The only thing I'm a little bit worried about was Russ's stat on Monday night, which is 10-2, I believe.
Right. Yes.
Was it 25 touchdowns to 2 interceptions?
It was something crazy like that.
Something like crazy. That's the only, and it's his birthday.
That's right. It's his birthday.
He's going to try to turn up. How guys are on their birthday on the live scene. I can see the storyline now. Russell Wilson on his birthday, 33 years old, 350 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, no picks, 100 yards scrambling. So it's shaping up for that. But if you look at the storyline, the last couple of weeks we had storylines. The Tom Brady team going back to Washington, and then we had the Cam
right.
and they were able to overcome that. So I'm looking forward to this. I'm just, like you said, we lost last year 20-15, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
that's huge. That game we should have won. We should have won that game, and Russ didn't play well. So, like you said, this defense has
last year
better. Yeah,
last year, 2020. Right? Yeah, 20-15.
Yep. And it was a very winnable game.
It was.
That the game? Was that Haskins?
That was Haskins. That was when he threw the 2 picks and yeah.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good. The only downside I feel about this game is the fact that it's Monday night, and you're going to hit on our Monday night record and our Monday night history.
Yeah.
And then the fact that it's Russell Wilson's birthday. He's had 2 bad back-to-back games. It's hard to see him come out and stink it up on a Monday night football because everything's on the line for him. He's trying to get traded. He's looking at, he's trying, so that's the only thing I'm worried about. But I'll let you hit on Washington and what the stats say there.
Yeah, I just want to look real quick. I would love to know in that 10-2 split how many of those were home and away games. I'm curious about that. I'd love to know. But just looking back at these last couple games for Russell Wilson, against the Packers, against the Cardinals, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 368 yards total passing. His completion percentage is right at about 50%, taken 7 sacks, 2 fumbles. So yeah, Russ is not playing well, man. He's not playing well. And I think he's still a good player. Their offensive line has obviously never been very good. They're not having the same success running the ball that they've had. And Chris Carson is hurt, I believe, right out for the year, or on IR at least. Yep. And then DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, Russell Wilson connection has not been the same lately. DK Metcalf still, they just haven't been in sync, it feels like, in the passing game, and then just haven't been able. 7 sacks in 2 games is obviously not good. Let's talk the bad news now. Washington on Monday Night Football. Now, someone will take this and they will say, again, different coach, different players, and I don't disagree with that. I do agree with that. But these numbers span several coaches, several quarterbacks, several coordinators, one owner. Okay, so since 2000 on Monday Night Football, the Washington football team is 5-23 in 28 games. 5 wins. They've been out, so that's bad enough, right? The fact that you've only won 5 games, but it gets worse than that. They've been outscored 461 points to 762 points by the opposing teams. That comes to points per game, 16.4 points per game. Washington has scored on average to 27.2 points per game. The other team has scored on average. Washington has scored more than 21 points 6 times. Opposing teams 19 times. Their last win came in 2014. Since that win, that was the Cowboys. That was the Colt McCoy Cowboys win in 2014. Since that win, they are 0-9. They've been outscored 155 to 275, which is a 17 to 30 points per game spread. And that win was a 3-point margin of victory. And the other one before that, which was RG3 in 2012, was a 1-point margin of victory. So they've won by 4 points and they've lost by a lot more than that. So they haven't won since 2014. Now they haven't played a Monday Night Football game since 2019, which was, when did they, actually, was it 2019? Yes, it was 2019. It was Case Keenum against the Bears, all the turnovers and all that. So it's been 5 straight years of losing since they've won. So that's a storyline too. I'm curious to see if ESPN will touch on Washington's just terrible performances on Monday Night Football, Tay. Because if so, then that's a storyline for you too that you can use to add fuel to your fire. I wouldn't be surprised if Ron Rivera is spouting out some of these numbers to the team. Because I know that they weren't the ones, obviously, but it's still, they're part of this organization, and it's this organization that has those numbers. So it still is a factor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I know Ron is good at that. I know Ron is good at using that fuel.
Right, exactly.
And adding bulletin board material.
Exactly. So that's what I assume that for this game, because I know for the Bucks, it was for every Goliath, there's a stone or something like that, which I didn't know about that when I was talking about David and Goliath on our episode the next day. I promise you, I didn't know about that. I just grew up in church.
Amen.
But it was crazy how that happened. But yeah, so for this game, that would be the storyline, in my opinion. Really, just the fact that Washington has been so bad on Monday Night Football. So and then I'm sure they lost last year, but that's what I've got. Tay, you got the good news, which is that the Seahawks are really bad this year, worse than they've been since before 2012. They have the worst passing defense, and Washington has been picking up steam and offensively running and throwing the ball, which the Seahawks are bad at defending both. Russell Wilson has been really off, and when he's off, he's off. When he's on, he's on, but when he's off, he's really off. So that's the good news. The bad news is, well, it feels like they're cursed on Monday night, so will they be able to overcome that curse? That's me. So talk to me about the players you're really expecting something from tonight.
I think 3 players who I'm expecting something from and have really big, huge opportunities to get their self acknowledged on the spotlight. And I'm going to say De'Ami Brown. Okay. I think that the last couple of weeks, he's been open. He's been open a couple of times. And Heineke has just either missed him or he went to Terry, which is respectable. I respect that. But I expect him to take some shots this game.
Yeah.
Like you said, the number 32 pass rank defense. Scott Turner's starting to get into his bag a little bit.
He is
outstanding.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say De'Ami Brown on offense. And then on defense, I got 2 guys. I got William Jackson. I think he's been playing good football lately.
Yeah, he has.
I think he's going to do a great. I think he's going to earn his money the second half. Okay. And I'm going to say Jamin Davis. I think he's going to show out on the national stage. I think those 3 guys have huge opportunities to turn their whole. Jamin Davis may not get Defensive Player of the Year, Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Definitely not.
Because Micah
has already sealed it as far as I'm concerned.
Even if he got hurt.
Yeah, he's won. Right.
But I think he has a good opportunity to shape into a good linebacker this next half of the season, and especially heading into division games. Right. And those are my 3 guys. I think they have great opportunities. I think all 3 will play very big and be instrumental in our success tonight, and especially defensively, those 2 guys. And then De'Ami, he's due for a breakout game. I don't think he's as bad as people are saying. I just think he's not getting the opportunities. A couple overthrown footballs and this and that, but I expect them to take shots, and I expect I expect him. I expect De'Ami Brown to play big tonight. I can see it now, and I'm hoping this can be a footstep into the right direction, into going into the rest of the division game, saying, okay, we got 1A, we got De'Ami, we got Samuel coming back into the fold. Now, that's what I'm hoping. So
yeah. Man, it would be great to see. I was kind of imagining a long ball De'Ami touchdown earlier. That'd be great to see more than just the score, but to see him. That would probably help his confidence too. And then you kind of touched on it. Curtis Samuel and Logan Thomas, I think, are both expected to be back tonight on a pitch count, both of them. But that'll be good to see. I would like to see, with Logan Thomas back, John Bates in there, who will be playing instead of Ricky Seals-Jones, and then the Thomas Bates blocking tight end duo is better than the Thomas Seals-Jones blocking tight end duo. Mm-hmm. John Bates is blocking his butt off, and so I'd love to see that. And then Curtis Samuel, if he's only in on some critical downs, on some third downs when he really performs really well, that's fine with me as well. I'd like to see Cam Sims in a bit more as well, because last year he was a big part in the offense's quote unquote resurgence. But I just think he's a reliable player for you right now. He's not a special, super dynamic player, but I think he's reliable and he can do some things for you. So, you want to do score prediction?
Yeah, I got one more thing.
Okay.
Last couple of weeks, we lost our 2 stars on the defensive end.
Yes. Yes.
And if you look at our roster defensively, I mean, nothing stands out really. You look at
you're right. I mean, John Allen and Payne.
Yeah.
Payne Allen, nice. Right.
You look at those D tackles, but it proves to me that what you're saying is correct. That franchise good quarterback play overcomes a bad defensive roster.
It does, man.
Because the last couple of weeks, Heineke has been balling.
Right.
And we haven't even talked about the defense.
No, we haven't. Exactly. Yeah, man, for sure. It's so true. It's so real and true. But we haven't had that, so it's tough to see because we don't see it consistently, and it feels like when the quarterback plays better, well, the defense played better. Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly. Okay, you want to do score prediction?
Yeah, and another question. So as we move towards, I remember last week you said, or on the post game, you said that I asked you what did Heineke need to do. And he's checked off one box right there. That one step towards your 7-step process. As we hit step number 2, what do you need to see from Heineke tonight that shores up his solidification, that takes him another step to step 3, not backwards, but another step forward to being QB1 for next year, at least stopgap for next year. Franchise QB gap.
Honestly, I think the easiest way to describe it is just compare it to other performances he's had. I need a Seahawks or Falcons level of performance. I need to see explosive plays from the offense, especially when they matter the most. I need to see a very limited turnovers, or if you turn the ball over, then overcome them like you did against the Giants. And just in general, I need to see consistency from the offense. They need to move the ball, and then they need to score, and it needs to happen. It can't just be running the ball. That's great to win a game, but for Heineke specifically, he needs to be the one leading the offense, leading the charge. The running game helps, and he's just he's making throws that just make you go, wow. Just consistently. That's a good throw. That's a good play. Avoiding turnovers and making throws that result in scores. So give me a Giants performance minus the interception, or even the Giants minus the interception plus 1 or 2 downfield throws that he could have had against the Giants, and that's a step in the right direction, which to me, again, 32nd ranked passing defense. So that's not a crazy ask, right? So that's really what I would expect to see from him. And then it would be a 3rd game in a row. You stack 3 good games together. That's an accomplishment too.
Okay, yeah, I agree with that. I'm interested to see how he performs, because he really has an opportunity, just like the other 3 guys that I named. He has an opportunity tonight to kind of solidify a role, not only amongst the fan base, but amongst national pundits.
Right.
And the gravity of this game for him is huge.
It is.
It's huge.
It is.
And the NFL already likes him.
Yep, so. That's what I was going to say. I love that, people want to tune in for this game. Honestly, they want to watch Taylor Heineke. They do. Not casual fans so much. Casual fans are like, who's that guy in number 4? But the NFL world, people who, live and breathe NFL, like people on Twitter, verified check marks, analysts, NFL Network, ESPN, those guys want to watch Taylor Heineke. He's made a name for himself, and if you were watching last week's Monday night game, the way Louis Riddick and I don't know the other two guys' names, but the way they were talking about Heineke, they were very high regard. And then, like I tweeted, and so many people can understand and relate to the fact that for years, Washington has never had a quarterback and a wide receiver on those promos for primetime games, but now you have Heineke next to Russell Wilson and Terry McLaurin next to DK Metcalf. That's cool to see. Whether or not Heineke is your franchise quarterback, like he has earned respect from everybody. And that's cool. I love that. So that's why I really want, because Washington is low key and the players on the team that are good don't get really great national media attention. Chase Young was really the only one. I just really want some of these guys to show up tonight so that people can start saying their name more. Heineke is one of them. Terry McLaurin is another. People know, but I need more people to know how good Terry McLaurin is. I would love for Antonio Gibson to have a good game. For Cameron Curl to have a really good. Some of these guys who don't get the credit that they deserve, but are some really good young players. But yeah, I would love for Heineke, number 1 of all of them, to just ball out because people love him, and if he balls out, more people will love him, and they'll love him more.
Yeah, he just got me excited for the game. And
the alternative, of course, is that everything comes crashing down. But we'll just wait and see what happens. We won't anticipate that. We'll just wait and watch. So, all right, you want to do how much you think the Seahawks will score first?
Yes. I'm going to say. You see, this is tricky, man, because it can either be bang or but. Like it's no in between with this.
No.
Man, they're coming from the West Coast.
Yep. We said the same thing about the Chargers. Now the Chargers and the Seahawks are not the same thing, so never mind.
Yeah. Man. I get my high and my low.
Sure.
Okay. For low, I would say 9.
Okay.
For high, I would say the highest their cap, I would say, is about 17 to 20.
Okay. Yeah, so much of it will be, I think, just pressuring and then containing Russell Wilson. That's really what it will be. If he gets out the pocket, that's when the big plays will happen. But I don't think the big plays will happen if you contain him in the pocket and get pressure on him. So, Seahawks, I'm going to go, I think, a couple touchdowns. I'll say 21. Yeah, I'll say 21 for the Seahawks.
Okay,
you want to go Washington?
Washington, I'll go 28.
28, okay. Is it 21 for the Seahawks? Call me crazy. I'm going to go 34 for Washington.
Wow.
I don't know. They're probably going to betray me, okay? So I am ready. My heart is ready to be betrayed. But there is just no reason that they should not be able to score a lot of. Now, I can say the same about the Seahawks. The only difference between the two is that Heineke and Washington are on a bit of a hot streak, and the Seahawks are on a very real cold streak. So that's what I'm banking on. I'm banking on Russell Wilson's numbers continuing to be the same, although slightly better if they've scored 3 touchdowns, and for Heineke to continue to do what he's doing. So 30. That means my final score prediction is 34-21, Washington.
Okay, yeah. I mean, their run game is non-existent. I mean, Alex Collins is back there. He's not doing nothing.
They have to throw the ball, and they can't do that.
That's right. But they have the weapons.
But they do have the weapons, and the Packers and the Cardinals' defenses are better than Washington's pass defense.
You see what I'm saying? So.
That's why I said 21. Because they got shut out against the Packers, and they scored 10 or 13 against the Cardinals. So 21, like how Cam Newton was terrible yesterday, but they scored 21 against Washington. So that's that's what I'm banking on, which also, again, Cam Newton was terrible yesterday. So like we said, like you said, Tay, about getting Cam, I think we're good. I think we dodged a bullet there. Anyway.
That was a huge bullet.
A 6-6 bullet. All right, so your score prediction is 28 to somewhere between 9 and 20.
17.
Okay.
28-17.
28-17, and I'm 34-21. All right, man. That means we are banking on them getting their 6th win on Monday Night Football in the last 20 years, and their first one since 2014. But now would be the time to do it. And again, Ron Rivera's teams have not come out flat in prime time. So I'm not going to bank on that the same way I would with Jake Gruden's teams, which on Monday nights, I mean, you could just tell, you could just feel like from the very first series they came out and it was just sloppy and flat and penalties and turnovers. So, well, we'll see what happens, man. I'm excited. Monday night games are nerve-wracking. You have to go through the whole day, anticipating it. But at least I'll get to just sit there and watch the whole thing and won't have to do anything or move around like I usually am. So, all right, well,
looking forward to it.
Yeah, and you'll be watching. Is it just going to be you and Bethany, you and your wife?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Same. That's it. That's all I need.
Same. Any special food? You cooking anything up?
No, I think we're gonna just have a Christmas. We're gonna play with the Christmas tree a little bit.
Okay, just mess around with the Christmas
tree. In the background, just on a commercial break. I'll do my little touches. Just sit there and just watch it, man. I'm tuning in. This is huge, man, because
it is.
This is just a big game, and I think they'll come out ready. I have a feeling Heineke's going to take full advantage of this, and if they win this game, obviously we have the Raiders game.
Yeah. That's again, you're on to another huge one, and then building up to that Cowboys game.
Yeah.
So they only get bigger from here.
Sweat's coming back soon too. So.
Right, that's right, exactly. Which could definitely make a difference. So.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we're not wrong. Hopefully we don't sound crazy around midnight tonight. So I guess we'll check back in tomorrow. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. This is Todd.
And this is Tay.